It's Monday and we have to make sense of it. It's January 1st to be exact, Capricorn season. 2024, what will you bring us? Today, I want to challenge my own thinking. Let's start this year challenging how I see and perceive things that I'm going through. And one of the things is my transition from working more so in like a corporate office or in the social service field to doing full-on content creation with like a very little transition time in between, just kind of bam, here I am. So the hardest thing about this transition that I've noticed for myself was just really accepting that I am a bad employee. It was the hardest thing about this, and that content creation is not a real job. Those two acceptances mentally not only was healing but liberating. Let me explain why. When I tried to look at how could I solve some of these issues that I came up across in the social service industry, because the biggest challenge about this change is stability in my income. There isn't any. It's non-existent. And so that puts waivers in who I think I'm becoming and if this was even a good idea or not. I know that you have to stick things out, and this right now I'm in the thick of it, and I understand that, and I'm okay with it now. But being a good employee meant that you needed to be able to submit to your supervisors, and that submission is something I don't have. I can comply and not submit all day. I don't understand why my compliance also needs my submission. And because I've had, even in situations where, I at least was alert and being attacked, I still in every which way did not give submission, right? Compliance you can comply to save your life, but you do not have to submit. And sometimes you'll be broken because you won't submit, but you will comply. And I had to accept that because I have that spirit of I won't just give you my submission. It didn't matter how many jobs I had. It didn't matter what company I worked at. It didn't matter what state that I was in. I was always going to run into the fact that I needed to bow down to my supervisor, right? And I want you to understand where I come from. With a mother as a paralegal, my dad is a contractor, both my grandmothers are pastors. And I'm the first child of my mom's kids and the second of my dad's. I got to see a different side of what hard work looks like in different aspects of life, in addition to the social service experience that I've gained, 15 years of providing in-home, direct, and hybrid or health services. So what I consider what was expected of me, like what was a baseline for me, outshines others. And I saw this one video, listen.
Reality is, you can't just say whatever is on your mind. You can't just think that being who you are and being natural and being, your normal self is going to get you very far. You have to be careful in this world. I'm not telling you to be paranoid. I'm just telling you to be self-aware that the people around you have egos, that people are judging you based on what you say, about how you dress, about your style, about how you look, about the friends you associate with. You may not like it, but it's the reality. You have to understand some of these basic principles so that you don't go around making these painful mistakes. So law number one, never outshine the master. The idea is very simple. Your boss who you work for, and wherever you are, you're going to have a boss, even if it's only a company of two people. That person has an ego, has insecurities. And if you try too hard to impress him or her, if you show off too much, you probably are going to inadvertently trigger their insecurities. And they're going to do weird things to you. They're not going to say, you made me feel insecure. You made me think that maybe you're after my job. Instead, they're going to fire you, or they're going to put you in a bad position. They're never going to tell you what exactly the reality is.
That video clicked for me. I remember I decided I was going to be a Zumba instructor, and this was right around the time of the pandemic, and I got, I had found a Zumba instructor through a friend of mine who was teaching during the COVID time. And she not only, I had already had my Zumba instructing license or whatever certificate for a couple years now, but I didn't have the guts to teach the classes, even though I had a certification. So she not only inspired me, but she allowed me to be in her classes, and she allowed me to teach one of her classes. And her feedback one time, and I knew she said this constructively and out of love, when I was teaching when I taught a song that I had choreographed, her feedback was, Charnel, you can't outshine your students when you're dancing with them. And that sent my head down a spiral because I didn't understand what she meant. Like, I didn't know I was outshining them. What? I didn't even know. So my bare minimum, what I've been, let me explain something first. With my granny, right? And that's my mom's mom, right? Granny is my mom's mom. My maternal grandmother. With Granny being the pastor and us being her grandchildren, we were involved in a lot of different church programs and stuff like that, and praise dancing was one of them. In addition to us praise dancing at our own home church, because even though my grandmother had her church in LA, that wasn't necessarily my mom's home church. Or my aunt's home church. They usually had their own church somewhere else. But we were still heavily involved in there. But it didn't matter what church we were at. Usually I was involved in the praise dancing, and if I was not a regular person who danced on the praise dance team, I was the one choreographing the dance. So I came groomed. I'm talking about, I've been doing that since I was like 12 years old, right? Groomed in like, okay, you only got one time to do this. We did the old gospel songs with praise dancers, and mine was up there for anywhere from 3 to 6 minutes and possibly even 8. So like the amount of rehearsal that is required for that type of performance was different than I had to realize in other people. And I had to teach myself and explain to myself that you're not performing, you're teaching. Which meant I don't have to know every step. You guys, it was a relief because there was so much pressure on me to know every step, to be able to dance to the words of the song at that beat every single time. And so I overthought what Zumba aerobics was supposed to be. And I had to reteach, which is mindful tricking. I had to reteach myself on, okay, it's okay that we don't do the dance exactly the same all the time. What's most important is movement. And what's more important than the movement that I can do is the movement that you can do because it's your body, right? I didn't understand that people watched my movement so intensely that they were going to try to do exactly what I did, not understanding that I am just really comfortable when I get present in my body and dance. I just get really comfortable. And so it's a different self-expression than I think other people allow themselves to do when they dance. I had to that amount of feedback just sent my head down they flipped me, blah, 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 down some stairs. It was the biggest flip I needed because I was able to not only adjust how I taught my classes, but how I taught and interacted with clients one-on-one. Even though I think I did a pretty decent job, but it made me like really think like, okay, is there other areas that I'm unintentionally outshining in? And maybe this is why I'm having challenges at work. And so I started really sitting back and looking at it, and I'm like, oh, wow. I'm not a good employee. And I'm okay with that. I'm not a good employee. I don't know how to not outshine. Because jobs be bullshitting anyway. They be telling you to give their best and do your best and try really hard. And then I became in supervisory roles and realized no matter how fucking hard you try, a supervisor is instructed to tell you an area that you need to improve on. As someone who has been paid to give feedback, you are required, me, the person that gives feedback, to never give 100%. You'll never get 100%. It's impossible. I need you to walk away with something that you need to work on, because that's the only way, according to, I guess, employment behavioral science, that you are going to want to do any better, is if you feel like there's a little bit more you need to work on. I feel like if you got 100%, you got 100%. Let's see if you can get 100% next time, because now it's about a consistency in your 100%. Because if you can obtain 100% once, then you can obtain it twice, opposed to making someone think that they need to reach for something that they can never fucking get. That is what they mean when they're talking about that carrot in front of the horse, right? And they're putting money in front of the horse. Have you seen those memes? Yeah, you'll never be able to reach that, because they're gonna always find something wrong. There's always gonna be an area of improvement. And see, I'm gonna challenge that. Right? So, I lost points here. What? Oh, baby, I was known as the policy changer. Oh, that's policy? And that's in the employee handbook. What section? Huh? Thank you. I went and I looked at the employee handbook. In fact, it does not say that. It says this. Can't guarantee you a week later, a new email sent out talking about everybody got to sign the employee handbook for a new update on the policies and procedures. So I'm just like, I don't do good at jobs because I read the rules that they write and I hold them accountable to the rules that they wrote. Yeah, my baseline is what outshines y'all. And I don't even intend. It's all unintentional. What if I got intentional about it though? What if I really took these shackles, these mental chains off? What would happen then? Cause y'all, I still be holding back. Oh my God. I don't feel like I'm near anywhere in my capacity. And here it is, you feel that I've outshined you. So I'm always looking for areas of improvement. And here, even where I see my weaknesses, you're intimidated. Think about that. Your haters are intimidated by areas that you see as a weakness. Let that sink in. And I couldn't make sense of the fact of going back to the employment field, going back and giving my social security number to another employer. It just literally feels like nails on a chalkboard. The sound of filling out another W-2 or scheduling another interview. So I'm not crazy. What's crazy is the gaslighting bullshit that employment is, and that, yes, I am basically one of my ancestors jumping off the motherfucking ship and saying, I'd rather swim to shore or die. And that makes sense to me.